This week in the Herald. In Rome, over 1 million young Catholics filled Tor Vergata for the Jubilee of Youth. 120,000 from the Neocatechumenal Way gathered to listen, to discern, to answer the call. CDM youth bring joy to the elderly in Cheras for World Day for grandparents and the elderly. The Archdiocesan Family Life Commission gathers elderly hearts from across the Klang Valley. From Africa to the Philippines and Indonesia, Father Francis Teo, MCSPA, returns to Malaysia and inspires with his talk, Being a Missionary Where We Are. And in our inspirational segment, celebrating for the Simon Yong's Sacerdotal Silver Jubilee. Hello, I'm Kachang Kevin and welcome to another episode of the HERALD Snapshot. Over a million young pilgrims from over 130 nations celebrated the Jubilee of Youth in Rome. Circus Maximus transformed into an open-air confessional with over 200 priests hearing thousands of confessions throughout the day. Pope Leo XIV arrived by helicopter at Tor Vergata in front of a record-breaking crowd, the largest of his pontificate, and carries the Jubilee of Hope pilgrim cross up to the massive stage. At the closing Mass, Pope Leo focused on true happiness and meaning of life, urging pilgrims to look to soon-to-be saints, Blessed Pier, Giorgio Frassati, and Blessed Carlo Acutis as models of youthful holiness. On August 4th, the feast of St. John Vianney, Tor Vergata in Rome came alive once again, this time with about 120,000 young people from the Neocatechumenal Way, all gathered with one purpose, to listen for God's call in their lives. The stage was simple yet powerful, adorned with an icon of the Virgin Mary, a crucifix, and a photo of Carmen Hernandez, co-founder of the Neocatechumenal Way and servant of God. Then came the most moving moment of the day, the call to vocation. By the end, around 5,000 young men and 5,000 young women had stood up and walked towards the stage, saying with their presence that they were ready to explore a life as priests or in consecrated service to the Church. On July 27th, Form 4 Catechism students from the Church of the Divine Mercy in Shah Alam spent a joyful morning with the residents of St. Francis Xavier Home for the Elderly in Cheras. They prayed, played games, shared music and celebrated birthdays, filling their home with laughter, song and heartfelt connection. As one student put it, "We came to bring joy to them, but we are the ones who left blessed." Meanwhile, over 100 participants from at least 10 Klang Valley parishes gathered at the Archdiocesan Pastoral Centre for a joyful World Day for Grandparents and the Elderly celebration. The program featured uplifting talks on senior health and spiritual hope, a visit from Archbishop Julian Lau, and a Eucharistic celebration with Father Peter Anthony. With fellowship over lunch, laughter at the photo booth, and hearts filled with encouragement, the day truly honoured the wisdom and faith of our elders. Malacca-born Father Francis Teo, MCSPA, recently came home for a much-anticipated visit, and it wasn't just to catch up with family and friends. He also spent time with the local Catholic community, sharing his missionary heart and life story. One highlight of his visit was a 2-hour talk at Cahaya Suara, attended by about 60 people from the Landings program and their guests. His theme, Being a Missionary Where We Are, reminded everyone that mission isn't only about travelling to far-off lands. It's about living out our faith in the everyday, at work, at home, and in our neighbourhoods. The Cathedral of the Sacred Heart of Jesus in JB was filled with joy on July 31st as parishioners and friends celebrated the Silver Jubilee of Jesuit priest Father Simon Yong, SJ. Marking 25 years of priesthood, Father Simon, the parish priest of the cathedral, led a Thanksgiving Mass with Bishop Bernard Paul and 35 priests from across Malaysia and beyond. In his homily, he thanked God for his vocation and reflected on the Ignatian spirituality that has shaped his ministry, walking with discernment, serving with freedom, and finding God in all things. All this and more in this week's issue. Be sure to get your copy at your parish this weekend. And help us like this video for a better reach and subscribe to our channel for more Catholic news.